Welcome back to Weather Nation. We're looking at Omaha, Nebraska. This is one of the areas that we'll be watching out for some stronger storms as we head throughout the next few days. So stay aware of the weather threat that's out there for today, but it'll be back as we head toward really Saturday. So some active weather out there, some more rain, some more storms, and we're talking about potentially some damaging storms on the way. But thanks again for tuning in. As we look at the rest of the eastern U.S., things are fairly quiet. A lot of shower activity off the coast, but back toward the middle of the country, we're noticing wet weather across parts of Kansas and also back toward the Four Corners. And that's where we'll slide to first, because we have a few rain showers and storms rolling through parts of New Mexico and even across southern parts of Arizona. The activity that was just south of Phoenix has more or less faded away, but we're still dealing with wet weather moving across the front range of the Rockies. And as we look toward eastern parts of Kansas, places like Wichita, Kansas City even, dealing with the threat for active weather this morning. And then over toward the East Coast, outside of a few isolated showers across parts of the north and east, things are fairly quiet. You really have to go down toward the Carolina coastline to find any type of wet weather activity. And then looking back toward the high plains and upper Midwest, we're noticing some rain showers and even a couple of rumbles of thunder across parts of Montana, but a lot more of that on the way as we head throughout the day today. And that brings us to the severe weather outlook for today. We're talking about a marginal and slight risk in place across parts of the high plains. Places that could be impacted include Pierre, North Platte, Lincoln, even Minneapolis, potentially dealing with some wet weather and even some storms. And we're talking about a wind potential, we're talking about a hail potential, and even the threat for some isolated tornadoes. And again, we have a major highway that's traveling through southern parts of South Dakota, so you want to be really aware of that between Pierre and Yankton. As we look at the setup, we have an area of low pressure, we have another area of low pressure, we have a trough of low pressure connecting both systems, and all of that will be moving east. And with that instability in the atmosphere, that will lead to rain showers, and that will lead to some storms likely firing up. And we can see that taking shape toward 4 p.m. and the hours after that, whether you are in the Dakotas, in particular North Dakota, or whether you are into parts of Kansas as well. So active weather definitely out there. More storm chances as we head toward Friday across eastern Iowa, northern Missouri, even the eastern parts of Kansas, as well as into western Illinois. And we're talking about an isolated risk across parts of Montana. And that's all from that same storm system continuing to move east. So early in the day, we'll notice clouds moving in, but then by the afternoon, when we get that daytime heating, we could likely see more rain showers and more storms firing up, some of which will be severe. And then back toward the west, a cold front sweeping across parts of Montana could lead to some active weather across a few isolated parts of that state. And then looking at Saturday, all of this energy as it continues to move east, in particular the system that will bring active weather to Montana, that moves east and it likely will impact the upper Midwest by the time we get to Saturday. So a lot of active weather on the way. We're talking about rain accumulating, especially for parts of Kansas, Missouri, even into Illinois, and also across parts of the desert Southwest. Now let's take you back out to Hawaii. We're continuing to follow the threat there, and we're talking about a tropical threat across this region. And you see road closures in place because of the flooding concerns and even high surf in some cases.
Yeah, and we are continuing to track Lane very closely. This hurricane has the potential to have a direct impact on the Hawaiian Islands. Currently churning as a Category 4 hurricane with a northwest track at 7 miles per hour. Winds are strong, sustained at 130 miles per hour. This storm continues to make its track off to the north here for the next several days, coming really close to the Big Island late Thursday into Friday morning, and some of the smaller main islands Friday on into the weekend. It will continue to weaken as it tracks north, eventually becoming a Category 1 hurricane by the weekend, and weakening further as we head into Sunday and on into Monday, taking a more westerly track as it does so. But even as it weakens, it will still bring some strong winds to the region. Let's time this out for you. The Big Island looking at strong winds as early as this morning, but more locations seeing those winds gusting up to about 75 miles per hour by this afternoon. Areas like Honolulu seeing those strong winds by Friday morning, and we're looking at Friday evening on into Saturday morning for the impacts to our far northwestern islands as far as the strong winds go. Now, the latest information on this, of course, a Hawaii emergency proclamation signed Tuesday after school activities. Those are going to be suspended through the week, and all state parks closed today on into Friday in anticipation of this strong storm. Stay with us. We are going to continue to track Hurricane Lane through the morning. We'll have the latest for you.